Good afternoon, madam. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Yes, you're audible.
Thank you. What is the time in your country right now?
Oh, it's the first half. 10:30. Yeah,
Okay, fine. Nice.
yeah.
So we will start in few minutes. People will be joining.
Yes, yes.
So
Right.
good afternoon, Dr. Saigal. You have to unmute your mic.
Yeah. Is it okay now?
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you.
Thanks for joining the session.
Yeah.
Tomorrow again you are invited for the panel discussion.
Tomorrow also.
Yes, yes.
Tomorrow what time? 4 o'clock itself?
Yes, yes.
Who else will be the panelist in that?
Dr. Kardam with you.
Tomorrow also.
Yes.
Okay.
In which city are you, sir?
Mumbai. Bombay.
I am also in Mumbai.
Oh, that's great. Let's look forward meeting each other once, one to one, rather than meeting through webinars.
Yes, yes, possible. We are in Andheri. And where are you?
I'm in Powai.
Very close.
Chandogiri Powai, the Heja Vihar.
Yeah. In front of IIT Bombay.
Close to that, not in front,
Very
just 5 minutes drive from the IIT Bombay.
Yeah.
रिथी आएगी।
चलो मैं पूजा कर रही हूँ, अंदर बैठ के कर लेती हूँ।
I think we will start.
Yeah, we can certainly start. Yeah, I'm ready.
Today, sir, today, Madam Jaya Sagar will be giving her presentation.
Yeah,
Yes. So, just wait for a minute.
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, fine. So, good afternoon to all of you. A warm welcome to all of you from Team SPC. A warm welcome to our speaker, Jaya Madam. Today, we have our speaker, Miss Jaya, and she will be delivering a session on journey of research. She is one of the great awardees, and she won 2 major awards for India among 1800 participants from 80 different countries, and the awards were given in International Science and Engineering Fair in Los Angeles, and she also won multiple awards. She contributed a lot in the domain, and she will be sharing her research experience. So right now, I would like to invite Mr. Mayank to introduce Jaya Madam. Mr. Mayank.
Yes, sir. A very good afternoon, ma'am, and a very good afternoon to all the dearest participants. It is correctly said that the capacity to learn is a gift, the ability to learn is a skill, and the willingness to learn is a choice. And the Pandit, who has all the above three, makes me introduce our today's eminent speaker, Jaya Sagar ma'am. Her dynamic personality is not confined to any limits. Jaya Sagar ma'am is the youngest National Youth Awardee of India for Research and Innovation. Her contributions to the scientific community at a very young age has brought laurels to the nation at various international platforms, including International Science and Engineering Fair held in 2004 at Los Angeles, where she won 2 major awards for India amongst 1,800 participants from 80 different countries. She has worked extensively in the fields of apple farming, renewable energy, Indian defense, 5G communication systems, and quantum computer. She is also the youngest recipient of National Women Achievers Award 2019. She is an electronics and communication engineer from NIT Hamirpur. She is currently enrolled as a PhD scholar in quantum engineering under Jutsi Smith Scholarship at University of Bristol, United Kingdom. She is the only Asian to achieve this feat this year. Jaya Sagar ma'am's generous spirit makes me tell you about her NGO. This NGO is for the promotion of girls in the field of science and has mentored around 5,000 plus students in Himachal Pradesh so far. Ma'am, before requesting you to enlighten us by sharing your scintillating expertise and your journey of research, I would like to again say few words once said by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, which were quoted as, "You cannot change your future. You can only change your habits, and surely your habits will change your future." Ma'am, now I request you to please enlighten us further. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayank. Now I hand over the session to Jaya Madam. Madam, you are requested to share your presentation on online Meet platform. And you can start now.
Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity and this wonderful introduction given by you, Dr. Rane, and Mayank. I would share my screen with my basic presentation so that we have a gist of how it all happened, because I could see in my introduction you talked about a lot of things, and I would take you through all of it step by step, and how did it all happen. So yeah. Okay, I'll just share. Do I need an access for it? Yeah. Okay, so I'll just share my entire screen and take it out there. Okay, so is it visible?
Yes, it's visible, ma'am.
Sure. So I'll begin. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity so that I can interact with you all and share my journey of research and everything. So thanks to the organizers for this. So I'm doing my PhD in quantum engineering from University of Bristol in UK, and quantum engineering is one of the recent fields of technology which is emerging so fast and is at a stage where our regular computers were 50 years back. So in 50 years, the computers and electronics have changed our life tremendously. And in next coming 50 years, quantum computers will take over and provide us with a lot more opportunities and possibilities to do greater things. So first, I would like to talk about what am I working and how is it different from everything else. So, okay, so all of us have studied about the classical computers and how do they work. We got this basic idea while we were trying to get into our engineering in class 11th 12th, when we studied about bits, zeros and one, and the gates we applied on them, NAND gates, NOR gates, OR gates, AND gates, right? All of us remember something about it. That is the basis of the classical computing, and classical computing is based on classical states, 0 and 1, on and off. That's how things work. But in a quantum computer, we have quantum states that we call qubits. Qubits are a superimposition of 0 and 1, and you do not know what they are till you actually measure them. They can exist as a superposition of both the states. So you would wonder that what's the benefit of it? Till you measure anything, you already don't know what it is. But the classical states, if you have n bits in quantum states, you can actually have 2 raised to power n, like you'll get the exponential possibilities, exponential states, and exponential chances of making your predictions right. And this technology is going to change the way we encrypt our messages today for communication, and the way our security system works and key distribution system works. So there is this famous lock and key example that talks about how quantum computers would change the world. So just imagine you have a lock and you have 2 keys. So to open the lock, you have to try one key and then another key, right? So if the first one does not work, you will go with the second one and then it would work. Now, imagine you have a lock and you have 4 keys. So you will try with the first key, then with the second key, then with the third key, and then with the fourth key. So after 4 attempts, you would know that this key belongs to this lock. Now let's say you have 10 keys, you have 20 keys, you have 100 keys, and you have 1,000 keys, and you have a billion or a million or a trillion keys. This thing in a classical computer would take a lot of time. Whereas in a quantum computer, or if we think of it that way, you have one key that exists in a superposition of all the shapes of all the keys you had. Let's say you had 100 keys, so you'll just have one key with in a superposition of all those 100 keys, and now you put that key into the lock and it opens in the first trial. So it saves your time and it helps us to perform a lot of calculations way faster. But yeah, if you would expect your quantum computer to tell you what is 2 plus 2, it would take time, and you can do it in a jiffy in a classical computer. Whereas if you talk about some probabilities or something about stars or something about something that does not have a deterministic answer but a probabilistic approach, your quantum computer is far more efficient. But since we are just in the stage of development of them, we do not have a full-fledged thing that just like you have a phone in your hand, you can do everything. Whereas in a quantum computer, this thing might not happen because they require a very low temperature to work on. And there are a lot more things that need to be worked upon. And maybe that's why I'm here in the field to make my contributions. So this sounds very different from what we as engineers did in India, because it sounds something too big, it sounds something too complicated. But we have opportunities and we come to explore them, and I got this opportunity with a scholarship, the Zuchi Smith Scholarship, to work in this university, this prestigious university of Russell's Group, University of Bristol, and the Department of Nanoscience and Quantum Information. And how did it all happen? I take you through a journey of it, but I can summarize it in just one line, that a little progress every day adds up to big results. So just like all of you, I did my engineering in electronics and communication, and I just completed it in June 2020 this year, and I came for a direct PhD program. And my schooling was literally as very similar as all of you. In 10th, I scored 90%, and I hope many of you would have scored a lot more than me in 10th and 12th. And so with 12th, I did my diploma in retail sales and marketing. So since I studied from the school, Government Senior Secondary School, Manali, and there we had an opportunity to take a vocational subject, which is now introduced all over the country, and many students take some vocational subjects, and I chose retail sales and marketing. And despite from my academics, I am interested. I enjoy snow skiing, and I've completed some courses on it. I enjoy basic water sports, and I'm a classical musician, so I can play tabla, harmonium, and I sing. And also, I have some basic martial arts of Seigokan Goju-ryu karate. So yeah, that was a bit about my academic record. And my journey of science started when I was a little girl in class 6th. That was year 2008, when I first went for the science quiz and I lost. So the next time when I went for it at the subdivisional level, district level, and then made it to the state level in 2009, as you can see, I won the 3rd prize at the state level. And it just enlightened, it just, inspired me to come back next year and do something more rather than just studying everything, memorizing it, and talking in the quiz. I wanted to do something in depth. I wanted to, take a topic, study about it, and actually do something creative about it rather than just memorizing the facts. So in 2011, I came back with my survey report. It was a work related to hydropower projects, and we will go through all these projects in a while, and you will see how as a kid I thought of them and how did they actually work. So and then in 2012 as well, I refined my project on hydropower projects, and I won at the state level, and I was selected for the national level Children's Science Congress, so which is a national level event where I met Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam for the first time, and it changed my life. So yeah, I also got the Inspire Award. So I worked on a model that is an eco-friendly kiln. So all of us have really studied about all these concepts, but the way we put them in use is where there is innovation. All of us know these basic concepts, and then we apply them in different places and make our life easier. That is what that makes innovation. So yeah, and then while I was in the national level Children's Science Congress, there was this quiz on nuclear physics that was conducted by Baba Atomic Research Center, and they chose 40 students, the toppers of that quiz, for a 5-day visit at Bark, Trombay. And I'm so happy that out of so many students, when I gave the quiz on nuclear physics, I was a student of class 10th, and I was in top 40, and I went for this 5-day visit, which was so good because seeing something as big as Bark is just amazing. Like, maybe, of course, maybe you people live near it, it might not be a big deal, but me being from a village in Himachal, it was something so wonderful. And then the thing that actually changed a lot about me was the IRIS National Fair. So Initiative for Research and Innovation in Science National Fair, it changed my life with my project in apple farming. It gave me a platform to represent India. So as I won the gold medal in IRIS National Fair, I got to represent India in International Science and Engineering Fair held at Los Angeles. And there also, out of so many participants, 1,800 participants from almost 80 countries, I was lucky enough to get 2 prizes for India. And I was the only student from Himachal who ever went for this competition, and the only student from a government school in India. So it was indeed very different. It was something like, all this hard work, and when you go to an international platform, you're a part of Team India, that blazer, that feeling, and that prestige that you're living in a 5-star hotel and you're treated as a celebrity because you're a part of Team India, you're presenting your work. And then since we were in Los Angeles, we went to visit the Hollywood, and then we went to San Francisco, we went to NASA in Research Center, and all of this for a little girl of 16 years old was enough of a motivation to pursue a career in science. So yeah, that's a bit of it in brief. And now we'll make it a bit interactive, and I'll talk about my projects, and I'll take inputs from you as well, that how do you think it all worked. So I'll share with my I'll start with my first project that I did. I did a base of it while I was in school, but then when I was in my during my BTech, I worked more on it. So a nano hydropower project. So how many of you have actually seen a hydropower project or have something to say about them? Please feel free to unmute yourself and share if you have something to talk about hydropower projects and what do you know about them. Oh, looks like everybody's sleeping.
Madam, almost majority of the people have already seen the hydropower projects.
Okay, that's a great input. So hydropower projects, like I live in Manali. Manali is blessed with many fast flowing rivers, and especially the Byas River. And we have so many hydropower projects that are set up on these fast flowing rivers. And we, being living so close to them, we feel that there are some um, impacts of hydropower projects on the nearby locality and the nearby flora and fauna. So I, as a kid, I wanted to do something, and like flash floods are one of them, one of the impacts of hydropower projects on the nearby area. So I thought of making a design for a nano hydropower project that can be installed in a stream directly, rather than making a penstock, taking the water somewhere, holding it there, and then another penstock, taking it to the power station. I thought of a nano hydropower project that could be installed directly on the stream, and that would not change the path of water, and that would not create empty rivers, and that would not affect the ecology of that area. So, and that was a bit of it. And then I worked on this major project that was mustard flowers to attract pollinators for better apple crop. So the quality and quantity of any crop depends upon the pollination it gets. And since apple is a pomaceous fruit and it has sticky pollen, so the pollen cannot transfer from one flower to another with the help of wind. It need insects. But as we are using a lot of pesticides to save our crops, we are losing the insects, especially the honeybees, which are very important for pollination of apple. So due to that, the apple crop is being hit every time. So I thought of using mustard. Mustard is a small plant. All of us have seen it, all of us have eaten it, and all of us know that it has beautiful yellow flowers. And yellow is the favorite color of honeybees. Apple and mustard both have same flowering period in the month of March and April in the higher Himalayan regions because of the extreme cold weather. So in March and April, when the mustard blooms, when the apple blooms, so I decided to use mustard to attract the honeybees, the pollinators, because it's yellow is their favorite color, to the apple orchard, so that when any insect randomly takes nectar from a flower, it flies upwards. So when the honeybees took the nectar from the flowers of mustard, they fly upwards to the apple flowers, and that helped in pollination of apple. So I designed this small experiment on 4 different orchards where I could plant mustard in an apple orchard in 3 different ways. And I found out the best idea was like planting mustard around the apple tree, like an electron orbit around the proton. And this helped us increase the apple crop by 25%. And this was the project that got me a lot of recognition in my region, and I also got the copyrights from government of India for this project. And if you guys remember, like I guess you had a talk with Mr. Vikas Sawat, and he was the one who helped me getting my copyrights for this project. And yeah, so it was wonderful. I was 18 years old when I got these copyrights, so 4 years back. And okay, let's move to the next project I worked on. It was emergency lighting system using piezoelectric materials and rain energy in hilly areas. All of us know that in the mountains it rains quite a lot. All of us know that piezoelectric materials are materials, when you apply pressure on them, they um, when you apply some pressure impulse on them, you get a voltage as an output. All of us know that. All of us know that when it rains a lot, the roads and the electric poles and the power supply in the hilly areas is disrupted, and we need something to sort it out. So, knowing all of this, I just collected them all together. So, When it rains or it snows a lot, we have power cuts for a week or more than that, or sometimes in the rural areas for almost a month. So what we thought to do was, so when there is rain or snowfall collected on the roof, and then when it is sunny, or when you get water coming down from like 2 floors, it would hit the piezoelectric plate, and you can have a stabilizer and a battery connected to it, and you can get some basic energy to have the basic lighting in the house. At least if it is not sunny, then you cannot use solar energy, right? And if it is snowing, and because of the snow the poles are damaged, then even if it is sunny, you cannot get a lot of power in your house. So this is one thing that we tried to do, to provide the emergency lighting system in the house using the power of the rain, and yeah, just the basic lighting. So it was very cost effective. We made this model and it was very cost effective, but we could not really get into get further with it, because we could not get the piezoelectric sheets that we wanted, and sooner, like our like research interests also changed. And then I took another problem, that was heating in the schools. So what happens is, the temperature in the higher Himalayas, it falls down to below zero. It goes to sub-zero temperatures. Even if it is sunny outside, if you're in the shade, the temperature would be 0, 1 degree, 2 degree, right? Or worse. So imagine you sitting in your classroom trying to study at 0 degree Celsius, and it is sunny outside, but you have to study and you cannot go outside and sit in the sun or play in the sun. So I have been through it. I have studied there. So I thought, rather than putting so much money on for the central heating systems in the school, either it is burning firewood or it is some electric energy or anything else, I thought of using the smart solar air heaters for the schools. And I assisted Professor S.S. Chandel. He's a renowned environmentalist, and I assisted him to work on this and develop some airflow simulation models for it, for the different wire mesh. And it was a cool idea, and we worked on it, and it turned out to be something very complicated, and of course something worth use. And this project is still going on, and we hope that soon in the schools of Himachal we will actually see some smart solar air heaters. And then something that all of you could relate to. All of us dream of going to Himachal, going on a trek on a beautiful peak, like climbing in the snow, and make a summit, do something adventurous. And many people that come to Himachal with this thought and this enthusiasm and a bit of alcohol, they end up in dangerous situations. They come here in all the excitement and adventurous mindset, but they get caught in the harsh climate and weather of the higher Himalayas, and then it becomes very difficult to rescue them, or sometimes it gets very difficult to even find their dead bodies. So I thought of this avalanche rescue belt that can send signals through the snow as well, and we can rescue people, and it also saves you from the wild animals around. And for this project, we worked a lot on it, and since the patent is still applied, so I cannot go in the technical details of it, but I can tell you that this thing that we shared with one of the um, early Everesters of India, we got a letter of recommendation from him, and he also approved the idea, and this could save lives. So that were the basic projects that I guess all of us could understand, and we know the basics of all of these, and we kind of know that, how could they work. But the leap that I took from innovation to research was last year when I went for my internship in quantum computing to Johannes Kepler University in Linz. So this is a thing with German that they don't pronounce the letter J as J, but Y. So my name there was not Jaya, but Yaya. Right? That's how it works because they don't pronounce J as J. So I went for this internship. So I wrote to this professor that I wanted to work under his guidance on quantum computing because it really interests me, and I had some interest in quantum physics and lasers and everything. And he said, I'm not currently working on exactly what you want to work, but I'm working on quantum integrated circuits using wire recycling. So if you are interested, then we can work it out. And I replied and I said, definitely, it works for me. It is a new domain. I'm interested. I don't know much about it. But before my internship starts, I can read about it. So last year in January, I emailed him, and all of this got finalized that I'll travel to Linz for 2 months and I'll work under his guidance, and we'll see how things work out. So I went there. I worked on the Python implementation of his research paper for IBM's quantum simulator, and it worked out well. And I was so interested in the field, and he gave me a letter of recommendation, and I also got a score of 98% for my internship. And the actual work I did there, and I uploaded it on Git, and it was so good that I was interested in this field so much that I wanted to work on it. And here I am. I ended up, starting my PhD in this field because of the letter of recommendation that I got from him for my internship. And that, I know a lot about the field, and I can be a good candidate for direct PhD. And then I also worked on a remote internship with Nokia Bell Labs in USA. So Bell Labs is a place that is for all the electronics and communication engineers and the computer scientists all over the world. This place is like the ultimate, right? So this is the place where electronics started. We started the transistors, we started everything here at Bell Labs. So I worked on a remote internship with Bell Labs, and it was to develop a feasible study of machine learning methodology for optical communication systems for the pre-distorters, channels, and algorithms. So we did this under the guidance of Dr. Usman Hadi, and it was really good to work on it. But since it was a remote intern, and I was doing it along with my studies, so it got a bit difficult for me to manage through it. But I learned a lot through this internship. And then for the minor project of my final year of engineering, I wanted to do something that is purely my domain. That is something purely electronics and communication. So I worked on a system for management of the EM battle space. So just imagine getting into a war with any of our friendly neighbors. I mean, as a nation, right? So in such a condition, we would have a lot of weapons, and we'll have to manage all of the weapons. And the easiest way to win the war is if you know the frequencies that the opponents are using for their communication with their weapons. And imagine jamming that frequencies for them and ruining their weapons or controlling their weapons, right? So this could be a big threat in a war to us as well, because if somebody knows on what frequencies we are sending our weapons, how are we communicating to it, or something like that, our aircrafts and everything, and somebody jams it or messes with the communication system, we will have problems. So what we worked on was a dynamic allocation of frequency spectrum for various communication devices of a battlefield. And then we developed a software for it, Django. On Django, like on Python Django platform, we created a software for it. And So this project that I started as, pure electronics and communication, turned out to be almost a computer science project. But then we wanted to do a practical implementation of it using the software defined radio, and we tried to do that. And yeah, we end up doing something a bit more different, because we started doing experiments on this USR radio, which is a software defined radio, on a particular algorithm scheme, that is listen before talk scheme for LTE. It's like the coexistence of your Wi-Fi and your regular phone frequencies. So we worked on that, and gradually, when I was doing all these different projects, it is very clear that I was interested in science, and anything that would interest me, I would, start working on it and try to do something and learn a lot more. So that's what we did. And through all of these projects, I got a lot of appreciation, and I also received a lot of love from many people as a community. And my notable achievements include of the National Youth Award for Research and Innovation, which is the highest youth civilian honor in India. So I received it for the year of 2015-16, but the award was given out in the year 2018. So I was the youngest awardee for this. And when I went for this awards ceremony and everything, it was so different. It was something like, imagining a national level award and getting it through your contributions in science is something too overwhelming for any science enthusiasts. And then later, I received my National Women Achievers Award in 2019 to promote science as a career for girls. And we reached out more than 5,500 students in Himachal through this NGO Mangal Dayak. So me and a few of my friends, like that set changes from everywhere I go. So in Manali and in Hamirpur during my college days. So we go out to the schools in the rural areas, especially the government schools, and there we talk to the students for a while, and we tell them about some basic concepts of science and how can they transform these basic concepts to innovative projects. So a bit of my projects I share with them, that do you know this, do you know this, do you know this, and then you can couple all of this to form a innovative project, because innovation and research, they're different. Innovation is something you're using the well-defined concepts to do something better, make our lives easier. Whereas while researching, you look for new methods, new techniques, and new materials, right? So you look for something new. Whereas in innovation, you know some concepts and you try to use them to make the lives easier. So I teach a bit of it to them, tell them some concepts, and if they have any ideas, they reach out to us, and then we help them develop their ideas for different science fairs and competitions, so that, like, it is believed, it is said, and it is true that if there is an egg and you break it from outside, if you force it to do something, it breaks and life ends. But if there is an egg and it breaks itself from within, life begins. So I don't think that it is right to poke somebody to innovate. But if they want to do something and if we help them out, it works wonders for them. And then the best memory of my life, I was the keynote speaker at the launch of Rashtriya Avishkar Abhiyan, and I got to share the stage with my idol, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, Dr. Tessie Thomas, Dr. H.C. Verma, and to address a gathering of 3,000 students and eminent personalities at the Talkatoora Stadium in Delhi in the year 2015. So all of us know Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He is the one who has inspired many of us to get into science, the missile man of India, the people's president, and a lot more than that, an inspiration. How many of us do know about Dr. Tessie Thomas? She is the missile lady of India. She has worked on, she was the project director for the Agni-5 missiles, and even now she is heading the like air missiles and all the air equipments that DRDO deals with. And all of us definitely know about Dr. H.C. Verma. He is the reason all of us could qualify JEE mains, and like his book on concepts of physics was something all of us treated as a bible of physics. And maybe some of you tried Erodo, or I don't know, different platforms, but I enjoyed reading Dr. H.C. Verma's book as a kid. It was so good to know all those concepts and the way he puts them in the questions. So yeah, it was the best memory I had at the launch of Rashtriya Avishkar Abhiyan. And later when I was in NIT Hamirpur, so actually this scheme, this organization, Rashtriya Avishkar Abhiyan, actually came to the ground level. And as the students of NIT Hamirpur, we went to a school to conduct some events on engineering and tell students about how it works and everything. So I felt so good that I was a part of it on different stages, from the inauguration to actual on ground practice. So yeah, and then a few more things. So now I'll tell you more about my NGO Mangal Dayak. So Mangal Dayak started in 2014-15 when I went for the International Science and Engineering Fair, and I came back with a lot of world-class exposure from a village school in the Himalayan region, like near Manali, that is a tourist hotspot, to the world-class exposure in science. That was a life-changing experience for me, and I wanted to, I had learned so much that I wanted to give it back to the society and give it back to the people. So when I came, I wanted to share my experience and share my knowledge and how to do things and how is science out there at world level to everyone. And then I thought of starting Mangal Dayak. And the word Mangal Dayak, we picked it from the national anthem. And yeah, because it had a nice meaning, and like my name comes in the national anthem for 6 times. So I really wanted to pick something from the national anthem for my NGO, and this was the best word I found there. And we started this NGO, and till now we have covered more than 5,000 students. We do their career guidance, we help them for their preparations for the competitive exams like JEE or NEET. We help them for their concepts of science, and even now I get their, sometimes you would randomly, even early morning or late in the evening, you'll get a call or you'll get a message that how does this experiment happen, why does this happens, or why do we have this, how can we do this. And it just feels so great that somebody out there is trying to do something good with their lives, and it motivates you to work even harder. And so the workshops we conducted so far were majorly in the government schools and a few private schools as well. And when we were working on when we started working on the career growth of girls, we realized that there is a lot more than just their studies. So we took some workshops on their sanitary hygiene, we took some workshops on their personality development overall, and how can they be more confident to do their things and not be afraid of the world out there. So yeah, and this was the total attendance of people who joined it. And yeah, I guess that's my journey with research, and I appreciate you all for your time and patience. And if there are any queries, feel free to ask, and if there is anything you want to know, I'm always open to answer.
Thank you, madam. Thank you for a wonderful presentation. Now, this is the time
Thank
for
you,
the
sir.
question answer session. Madam already asked for the question answer session. So there are many participants, and participants can enjoy the question answer session with reference to the overall research journey and the challenges, opportunities, and the research avenues. So I expect a few intelligent questions from different participants. Yeah, please. Yeah. Madam, would you like to comment on some kind of challenges at the international level, particularly when our students move from India to abroad? What kind of challenges our students face?
Definitely, it is a very valid point. When I thought, when I was coming out of India, I thought it would be very nice, everybody will be very welcoming, and it will be wonderful to work with so many people from different nationalities and everything. And when you study in your college, you are among the top 10 students or top 5 students, and many of the teachers, they know you, and you get some special attention. Even in class, you're asking a doubt or everything. But when you come out, when I came for my internship last year and even now, you would feel a bit of it, where they're talking about something like all your colleagues. When it is about work, when it is about physics, when it is about science, we know a lot. But when it comes to the regular or informal bonding, it becomes a bit different. I'm the only Asian in my cohort now. And when I was in Austria for my internship, I was the only Asian in the complete department of quantum information. And it was very different. Like when your peers, they're talking about, oh, we have the supercomputer in our university, I was working on it, and blah blah blah. And then you feel like, okay, this is the first time I'm seeing a supercomputer. There is no supercomputer back there in my university. I don't know what should I contribute to this talk. And then when they're talking about, we have this in our university and this worked and blah blah blah, and you're like, okay, I don't have this. Okay, I don't have this. And you feel that, maybe you're inferior to them, but you know that you're not, because you elevated yourself. You came up with such great things with the limited resources you had. So, of course, you have a lot better knowledge than them. And it is very important to bring those things back to the nation, back to the universities, to our alma maters, and bring it back to the places where we belong, and make it easier for other students to do better things with their journey and make it easier. So yeah, that's one thing you would feel. If any of you do plan to go abroad for your higher studies, be prepared to be emotionally strong enough. Not everywhere in the world is as welcoming as India. And of course, if we have an international student, we give some special attention to them and we are very friendly with them, but you won't really feel it everywhere in the world. So it is good. It is obvious you don't belong here. It gives you a bit of a challenge, but it is also a great opportunity for you to focus on your studies more and present yourself better. Yeah. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, yes. And with reference to other than technical, what are the other challenges, particularly lifestyle, then language? Now, fortunately, you are in UK, that is fine. So There is no problem with reference to the English, but what are the different challenges which we are not aware?
So last year when I went for my internship to Austria, and since then I was talking to my professor just on emails, and when I went there, my professor could not really speak English. He only could speak Romanian and German, and I could only speak Hindi or English or a few more regional languages. And when we wanted to communicate, we realized that we really cannot. So I took some lessons on Duolingo and all for German before going. So I knew the basics of German, and he knew the basics of English. So we could talk a bit about it. But when you really want to understand something and you want to, ask your questions in a way and get to know more about a complicated topic, something like quantum physics, you need to have a better level of communication, and that was very difficult for me. And me and my professor, even if we are in the same room, we want to talk, we would use Google Translate, or we would write it, and then if it makes sense, right? So it was difficult. And when I went to Germany, and around Austria, Germany, Czech Republic, and we went to Slovakia, we went to Italy, and all those countries. So if you go somewhere in Europe, like, you have this privilege that you can go around different countries and have your travel goals done. But yeah, language poses a big challenge. And now when I'm in UK, of course, there is this basic English, but the accent changes a lot. So when you talk to your peers and they have this very strong Bristolian accent or their accent, it becomes very difficult to understand them. And we Indians, we have a very neutral English, and whatever we say is understood by them easily. But whatever they say, you need to take some time to assimilate that and understand the crux of it. So yeah, and that is another thing that happens. And the lifestyle definitely is different from hostels to everything. In India, in the hostel we are living, we'll get 3 regular meals. Here you have to cook for yourself, and breakfast, lunch, dinner, the classes, and if you have any hobbies and you want to continue them, doing all of it gets a bit difficult. But I'm happy that I know how to cook, so I can get my basic ingredients and cook for myself. And yeah, I mean, if you, any of you ever, cooking is not a gender stereotype, it is a life skill. If all of us can eat, all of us can cook, right? So it is one important thing, then all of us should learn, because I see my other friends who are here and cannot cook are struggling with their lives. Because if you want to go out and eat, it is very expensive. So it's better to cook, but you should know how to cook. So these are few things that you would definitely think of before coming to another country to study. Yeah.
Thank you, madam. Madam, regarding the scholarships to our students, particularly Indian students, what is the scenario and what are the different schemes which are launched by UK government for Indian students? Can you give
Okay.
some kind of a idea with reference?
Right. Yes. So this is one thing for sure, that if you know that what you want to do, what field you want to choose and work on, then definitely there are so many ways to get funding for your work. So the best thing you can do is, like, if you want to get started with it, search for the thing that is in your head. I wanted to work on, let's say, quantum integrated circuits. I checked it on Google Scholar, right? I saw some recent research papers, so I know which departments and which teams of which universities are really active at this point. Because if you look for research papers, let's say in 2010, and then you email that scientist, and he might or he might not be working on the same field now. So it is better to look for the teams that are currently working on that topic, and then email them that you want to work with them. Either you want to do your master's, your higher studies, or you want to work as a research assistant in their team and you want to learn. You can quote a few of their research papers if you find them really interesting, and then they would if they like your profile, or if they want a research assistant in their lab, they'll definitely figure everything out for you. They will help you with the finance and funds. When I wanted to go for my internship, my professor booked my accommodation. He managed my stipend and everything, my travel, and even I got like my visa fees and my medical insurance sponsored. So if you really want to do something, just reaching out to the right professors is useful enough, and they would like guide you through the path that apply on the website, complete this form, you need some letters of recommendation, and this and this and that. Even now for my PhD, I followed the same path, and my professor told me, go through this website and apply for this course for a direct PhD program. And I said, I saw the program, it is very expensive and I don't think I can make it. And he said, don't worry, you apply for it. If you're selected, there are many funding opportunities. So I applied for it, and then I had an interview. The interview was almost 1 hour long, and in that interview they asked a lot of technical details in quantum engineering and everything. And I got an email that I'm selected for this course, and I cannot get the research stipend because that is only for you students or the British students. That is not for Asians or Americans. So I said, oh, in that case, I cannot come. And then they said, but we have nominated you for this another scholarship, the Smith scholarship, and you might receive an email with the confirmation soon. So after a week, I received my email that I got the scholarship, and everything from my research grant to my travel to my stipend to my tuition fees is covered in that. So either you have a portfolio strong enough that you just reach out to the professor and things work out smoothly for you, or the other way is, if you're not really sure what you want to do, then um, apply for the university. On the portal there are so many funding opportunities, and there are different scholarships, but make sure while you check for them, they are valid for Indian students. There are Commonwealth scholarships, and all the scholarships have some preferences. You would see a trend in all the scholarships. If they are mostly given to North Indians, mostly given to South Indians, mostly given to girls, mostly given to boys, mostly given to mature students, mostly given to early birds, mostly given to you would know. And when you see a bit of that trend, it will increase your chance of getting the scholarship. And all of the universities have various scholarships for programs, but usually for the 1 year masters or the very like the courses that are very commercial, they don't have many schools. Like, let's say you want to come here for a 1 year master's program in robotics, that could make you get a lot of money in future, right? If you're coming for your master's in business administration, definitely that is one thing that will give you a lot of money in future. Then you won't really get a lot of scholarships during your studies. But if you're coming for something like research, right, and you can contribute to the name of the university. If you're coming for a master's by research, so that any research paper you write will have the name of the university, will bring colors to the university, then you can surely get scholarships for that. You just have to reach out to the professor and that you want to do your master's by research under their guidance, and they will tell you, okay, I can sponsor your tuition fee, but maybe you have to take care of your other expenses yourself, and then you can apply for other funding opportunities as well. So that is the best way to do it. Otherwise, you can, there are so many websites and so many travel agents and so many platforms that claim that they can get you scholarships, but I don't think any of these really work. But actually reaching out the right professor with your research interest is something that helps. And while writing emails to the professors at one university, at one department, don't write it to all the professors because they talk to each other. If they get an email, they would tell the other one that I have received an email. And if he says, yeah, I have received an email too, oh, this guy is sending emails to everyone, we don't want them. So you have to be very careful that whom you're writing to, because at this point it's not just your name, it's the name of your institute where you're studying right now, and the name of your country as well, while you are reaching out to some other professors. So make sure the grammar is correct, make sure you're respectful, make sure you put your interest right, and that would lead you to get some good information regarding the field, some good opportunities, maybe internships or masters by research or CDT programs or anything that is of research or interest.
Thank you, madam. Excellent information. Thank you for a wonderful session. Now I would like to request Sadhvi madam to give the summary statement. Sadhvi madam, are you there?
Yes, sir. First of all, thank you so much, ma'am, for this amazing session. You very well proved that saying that potential is not an endpoint, but a capacity to grow and learn. Your journey has been extremely inspiring for us students and also everyone present here for this session. You first started the session with explaining what is quantum computers and how are they different. Then you also differentiated between the classical states and quantum states. Then you gave us a brilliant example about the famous lock and key. Then you also said that quantum computers are more efficient. And then you shared your academic journey. And also you were very astounding in the extracurricular activities, which is also very inspiring. Then you told us that you you were a gold medalist for the Irish National Fair, and also enlightened us with your projects that you've done, the nano hydro power project, the mustard flowers to attract the pollinators for better apple crop, and also the emergency lighting system using piezoelectric materials and rain energy in hilly areas. IoT enabled smart solar air heater for schools, Avalanche rescue belt, and then you took a leap from innovation to research by the quantum computing summer research intern in Johannes Kepler University, Linz, remote intern Nokia Bell Labs, SV USA, system for management of the EM battle space, the SDR-based experiments on NI, USRP to improve the LBT for LTE and LAA coexistence systems. You also enlightened us with your notable achievements, with the biggest achievement being the NGO Mangal Dayak that you started. And you got the origin for the name from our very own national anthem. And also you promote the girls for the field of science by this NGO. Your throughout journey has been very amazing and inspiring for every one of us. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Sadhvi
much
madam.
for this wonderful opportunity.
Now I request Dr. C.K. Sehgal to give the closing remark and also add a point of some research avenues, some challenges, opportunities in the research journey.
Hi, good evening, everybody. At the outset, many thanks for a wonderful presentation on different aspects of your technology domain. Your journey, as a matter of fact, will be a real, I would say, a real guide for many aspirators who wish to achieve success in research and development and innovation in their career. At the outset, I think you are at a wonderful place, Bristol, within 40 miles, I think, radius. There are wonderful beaches like Plymouth, Torquay, Sidmouth, because I spent 2 years at Exeter, which is hardly 30, 40 miles from the Bristol. It's a wonderful place to be there. I am indeed very impressed that one of the prime projects which you are undertaken through your NGO, create innovators itself is a big innovation. This is a big thing, and I'm sure this is something many youngsters are getting helped, and I wish you all the luck in that, all the success in that. I rather would like to ask you one thing. As you have taken quite a few projects like in horticulture, in solar heater, Has any one of these reached to commercial level?
Okay, so the project that I did for apple farming, it was a copyright, not in patent. So it was an idea that is now being used by the farmers in Himachal, and it is actually helping the farmers to improve their apple crop. And I'm so happy that, especially in the Kullu district of Himachal, when you go there in March or April, maybe if you plan your trip to Manali or somewhere in the district Kullu, go there in March and April, and you will actually see in the apple orchards there would be mustard planted in a controlled um, manner, because like in the manner that we decided it should be for the optimum crop. You will see it there, and when you travel on the roads on the both sides, you see the orchards and you see your idea being implemented there, is such a big motivation. And for the other projects that I've been working on, they were as part of teams. And I said, I also told it that the piezoelectric one, that could not reach the commercial level because there was a bit more work to be done on it, and we could not get the right materials for it, and we just gave up and we started with something else. And this is one thing I think that happens in during our BTech. We have an interest, we do something, we create that, we have an idea, we do the mathematical calculations, we do the simulations, and then there are some you don't get the right funding, you don't get the right support, and sometimes you don't get the right environment to do it, and then you switch to another thing, and that happens. And the other project on Avalanche Rescue Bell, I'm still struggling for the patent for it, and then it would reach the commercial level. So I think all of this is a very slow process and it takes a lot of time, but I hope that with time it would work. And the projects that I did for my majors, they were a part of a bigger group. And now the one that I did for the Indian defense system, the EM battle space, that the report of it is being sent to like the higher authorities to check the feasibility of it. And of course, it is developed by undergrad student. It would have a lot of things to be improved upon. And so all the projects are moving on their own ways. Some are still going on well, some are in middle of administrative issues, some are just lost in the world of holiness. And yeah, and here I am to actually do something with quantum engineering and take it to a final level. And that is what I guess PhDs are all about.
That's
Yes.
great. That's great. That's great. I think it has been a wonderful, your talk has been very, very informative, very, very valuable. And I'm sure it will be inspiring many youngsters to look forward to how they have to shape their future. And you have rightly said that research, innovation and research, they go parallel. In fact, ideas which are generated through innovation, innovative thinking, to put into practice, research comes into play. Through research only, you rather take your ideas forward, which make them enable through research, and then they come into commercial use. It's a wonderful thing. And also, as regards, Professor had very directly asked question, how to look for such places in the foreign universities. You have rightly said, as a matter of fact, foreign universities for graduate and postgraduate level, they are commercial places. It is a business vertical for them because the fees for the foreign students is extremely high. Only few can follow. However, at the same time, many eminent professors who have got a recognition, they do have funds for their respective projects from the different sectors like Department of Science and Technology, and many private companies itself, they do have funding for specific projects to the professors in the universities. There is an opportunity. One of the prime, as you rightly said, that you have to undergo interview unless and until professor in charge of the project is convinced that you can certainly add value to the projects they have been aspiring for, which they have got funding. They're very choosy, certainly. But your work which has been carried out and published is in public domain, forms a very, very important and contributory factors in your selection for such places for such places at such universities. And as you rightly said, whatever internship you did in Austria, the certificate, the recommendation you got from the professor is a big asset. These certificates from a recognized eminent personalities in that technology domain is a very, very important tool which can help students to get a place wherever they wish to. I recall one of the best certificates I have got in my career is from a British professor who writes a word. He'll be a real asset in any R&D anywhere in the world. That itself is something which is no less than a Nobel Prize for me. Because self-contending, that somebody recognizes. So you must, all the youngsters who wish to pursue their career in research and development in recognized global universities, must develop credibility in the form of publications of their research work and also recognitions from their professors or who have got eminent personalities with whom they have worked, which will play a very, very major role in their career. I once again thank Madam Jaya for a wonderful presentation, and she has shown ways and means to youngsters how to achieve their goals in their career. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Saigal. Thank you, Jaya Madam, and thanks to all the participants for active participation and patient listening. We will again join tomorrow for the panel discussions. That will be the last session along with the valedictory session for the entire 1-week workshop on IPR strategies and innovation. Thanks to all of you. Have a nice time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.